There are people who talk a lot, yet no one listens. Then there are those who don't need to say much, but whenever they speak, the whole room falls silent to hear them. One of the greatest lessons in life is knowing when to remain silent and when to speak up. The difference between a wise person and a reckless one lies in their ability to control their mind, master their words, and govern their actions. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." In today's fast-paced world, people are caught up in debates, judgments, and the constant pursuit of validation through words, forgetting that silence and observation can sometimes be the most powerful weapons. Those who can control their thoughts, maintain silence when necessary, and engage in active listening are always more respected. But how can we train our minds? How can we use silence wisely? And why did great historical figures like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus all emphasize the importance of composure, listening, and observation? In this video, I will share 10 profound lessons from Stoic philosophy to help you better understand the power of silence and how to apply it in your life. Stay until the end so you don't miss any valuable insights. If you're ready to challenge yourself, leave a comment. I accept the challenge. Let's get started. 1. Mind control is the foundation of wisdom. There is an undeniable truth. You cannot control the world, but you can control your mind. That is the core foundation of wisdom, clarity, and a life shaped by reason rather than impulsive emotions. In moments of chaos, when everything around you seems out of control, the only person who can remain steadfast is the one who masters their own thoughts. And when you master your mind, you master your destiny. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor who not only ruled an empire, but also ruled over his own soul, once wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This statement is not just advice, it is a truth. We spend too much time trying to control the external world, worrying about how others perceive us, fearing what has yet to happen, or reacting instinctively to everything that comes our way. But all of these things are beyond our control. The only thing we can truly control is how we think, how we react, and how we choose our own path. Controlling the mind is not about suppressing emotions, but about understanding them. A Stoic does not run away from their emotions, but observes them objectively without being manipulated by them. They understand that emotions are guests, while reason is the master of the house. Anger may arise, but they do not let it dictate their actions. Fear may enter their minds, but they do not let it shape their destiny. So, how do we cultivate the ability to control our minds? The answer lies in critical thinking and mindfulness. Critical thinking prevents us from being easily swept away by emotions or misinformation. When facing a situation, instead of reacting immediately, ask yourself, is this really important? Am I seeing the situation objectively? Will my reaction help me achieve what I want? These questions help you stay calm and think more clearly. One of the best examples of how Marcus Aurelius trained his mind is Meditations, the journal he wrote to himself amid the chaos of the Roman Empire. As emperor, Marcus faced constant wars and dealt with betrayal, political conspiracies, and personal losses. Instead of allowing himself to be consumed by resentment or despair, he documented his reflections on inner control, reminding himself that external difficulties matter far less than how he responded to them. Mindfulness is a mental training technique that Stoic philosophers have practiced for centuries. It is the ability to observe your own thoughts without being carried away by them. When a negative thought arises, instead of immediately believing it, pause and observe. Why am I having this thought? Is it really true? Can I change my perspective? This is how you prevent yourself from becoming a slave to unconscious thoughts. The wisest people in history were not necessarily the most intellectually brilliant, but those who mastered their own minds. From Marcus Aurelius and Seneca to Epictetus, they did not let the world control them. Instead, they controlled how they perceived the world, and that is true power. There are very few things you can control in this life, but if there is one thing you must master, it is your mind, because everything else will be shaped by that. 2. Why silence is more powerful than words. Have you ever walked into a room full of debates and realized that the quietest person is often the most influential? Have you ever observed someone who simply sits and listens but commands the entire room's attention the moment they speak? That is no coincidence. It is the power of silence. People often believe that the best way to demonstrate intelligence is to speak as much as possible. However, in reality, power does not lie in the quantity of words spoken, but in the value of each word chosen. A person who knows how to remain silent does not have nothing to say but understands when to speak and when to listen. The philosopher Socrates, one of the greatest minds in human history, is a perfect example of this power. He was famous for his Socratic method of dialogue. But what earned him respect was not his ability to argue. It was his ability to listen before responding. He did not rush to provide immediate answers. Instead, he asked questions, reflected, and only then shared his perspective. His patience and deep listening made his words carry immense weight, enough to influence the thinking of an entire civilization. Silence, when used correctly, holds extraordinary power. It compels others to listen more intently when you do speak. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. In a world where everyone rushes to voice their opinions, silence becomes a stronger statement than any spoken word. When you truly listen, you don't just hear what people say. You perceive what they do not say. You recognize hidden emotions, underlying concerns, and the deeper motivations behind their words. This is the advantage of those who master silence. They do not get caught in meaningless arguments, but instead take control of the situation, observe and analyze before making a wise decision. So, how can you cultivate this skill? Start with active listening. When engaging in conversation, instead of thinking about your next response, genuinely listen. Pay attention to tone, expressions, and body language. Let others feel that you are listening with your heart, not just your ears. Only when you truly understand can your words carry real impact. Silence is not weakness or hesitation. Silence is the power of those who have self-mastery. And when you control your silence, you command the respect of those around you. But silence alone is not enough. It must be paired with keen observation, because when you observe instead of reacting, you do not just understand the world, you understand human nature. Join me as we continue exploring the art of observation, a skill that will help you read every situation and always stay one step ahead in the game of life. 3. Observe instead of react. Amidst the noisy words, the hasty reactions, and the impulsive emotions, only those who truly understand the game have the patience to pause, observe, listen, and feel before taking action. They do not rush to respond. They do not need to prove anything immediately. They simply watch, comprehend, and make decisions at the right moment. The world operates in a way that only the perceptive can recognize. Hurried actions often lead to mistakes, while silence and observation bring deeper and more accurate insights. When you react hastily, you are being controlled by the situation. But when you choose to observe, you control the situation. Warren Buffett, the legendary investor, is a living testament to this philosophy. He does not plunge into the market like a hungry wolf, nor does he buy and sell impulsively like many others. He observes, analyzes, listens to the market's flow, and understands human psychology before making a decision. And it is this patience that has helped him build a strong investment empire over decades. He once said, "The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient." Do you see? Observation is not procrastination. It is a strategy. But this principle applies not only to investing, but also to everyday life. Knowing how to observe instead of reacting impulsively can make a huge difference. Imagine an important meeting. Some people constantly speak up, trying to assert their opinions, even arguing to take control. But then there is another person, one who chooses to remain silent, listening carefully to everything. He does not rush to express himself, nor does he let emotions dictate his actions. He simply sits there, observing every word, every gesture, every reaction in the room. And when the right moment arrives, a single statement from him is enough to completely shift the discussion. What is the difference? One side reacts, while the other observes. One side is controlled by the situation, while the other holds the situation in their hands. You may ask, how can I develop the skill of observation? The answer is simple, but not easy to implement. Learn patience. Allow yourself to take a step back before responding to any situation. When someone insults you, instead of immediately getting angry, look at them. What do they truly want? Are they trying to provoke you? Are they attempting to control your emotions? If you do not react, if you simply observe, you not only maintain your composure, but also strip them of the power they seek over you. A wise person does not need to say much, nor do they need to react quickly. They understand people through observation. When you master this skill, you will realize that the respect you receive does not come from what you say, but from what you know while saying nothing at all. Have you ever chosen to observe rather than react in a situation? What did you learn from it? Share your story in the comments below. 4. Practice patience. Silence is not an act of avoidance, nor is it a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it is a symbol of self-mastery, an invisible shield that makes a person mysterious and exudes authority. The greatest individuals in history were not always the most talkative. They understood when to speak and when to remain silent to create a powerful algar. In Stoic philosophy, patience and emotional control are the core principles for achieving this mental state. When used correctly, silence transforms an ordinary person into a symbol of confidence and reliability. There is a fascinating truth about human psychology. We are often drawn to the unknown, to those who speak little yet radiate a strong presence. Mystery does not come from eloquent words or grand gestures, but from complete control over one's emotions and reactions. When you choose to remain silent instead of hastily responding, you not only demonstrate composure, but also compel others to wonder about your inner strength. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, endured years of captivity and torture, yet he never allowed pain to dominate his mind. Once, when his slave master twisted his leg until it broke, Epictetus did not scream, did not beg for mercy. He simply stated, "You see, my leg is broken." No complaints, no tears, no desperate resistance. His silence was not submission, but a silent declaration of human inner strength. A person may lose their physical body, but their mind remains untouchable. This was true for Epictetus, and it is true for all of us. Real strength does not lie in the ability to retaliate against every attack, but in the ability to keep the mind unshaken in the face of adversity. When you remain silent in the face of ridicule and provocation, you not only preserve your dignity, but also make others question what makes you so strong. It is this very mystery that creates authority. To attain this state, practicing mindfulness is an effective method. Through mindfulness, you learn to observe your thoughts and emotions without being swept away by them. You realize that not every word requires a response, and not every situation demands an immediate reaction. Those who master emotional control often possess the strongest presence. They walk into a room and immediately command attention, not because they speak, but because they understand the power of silence. Finally, think about the greatest leaders, those who are respected worldwide. They are not the ones who talk the most, but the ones who can make others listen with just a glance or a small gesture. They never allow emotions to dictate their decisions. They understand that sometimes saying nothing is the most powerful way to assert authority. In a world where everyone is in a rush to express themselves, the one who masters silence is the one truly formidable. 5. Silence helps build an image of mystery and authority. Have you ever been in a crowded room where everyone is talking, yet there's one person who quietly observes, not rushing to speak? That person doesn't seek attention, yet they intrigue you. You wonder what they're thinking, what their perspective is, and when they finally speak, you immediately want to listen. This is the power of silence, an invisible force that only those who master self-control can wield. People who speak less are often surrounded by an aura of mystery, not because they have something to hide, but because their restraint in speech makes them more captivating. When you don't reveal all your thoughts, you create space for others to speculate. And in human psychology, the less something is known, the more it sparks curiosity. Take Keanu Reeves, for example, one of Hollywood's most respected and beloved actors. He doesn't often make loud statements in the media, doesn't argue, nor does he seek attention. Instead, Reeves lets his actions speak for themselves. His calm demeanor, deep gaze, and humble behavior command admiration. It is this silence that creates an undeniable aura of power and appeal. When Reeves speaks, even if it's just a short sentence, people listen with respect. But silence does not mean withdrawal or weakness. On the contrary, it is a manifestation of strong inner control. In Stoic philosophy, Seneca once wrote, "Silence is a lesson learned through life's many sufferings." This quote reflects a profound truth. Silence is not just a skill, but a result of experience and personal growth. Those who understand the value of silence are the ones who have overcome enough challenges to realize that words are not always necessary to demonstrate wisdom or strength. Instead, composure and selective speech are the true marks of self-mastery. First, observe more and speak less. In conversations, instead of filling the silence with meaningless words, try practicing active listening. When you remain silent, you give yourself time to assess the situation, understand others' perspectives, and respond more wisely. Additionally, learn when to stay silent when speaking is unnecessary. There are times when arguing or reacting immediately brings no real benefit. Successful and influential people do not speak to prove themselves. They let their actions do the talking. When you remain silent at the right moments, you not only maintain your dignity, but also make others think more carefully about every word you say. On your journey to developing mental strength and self-control, you have already come halfway. If you've made it this far, I sincerely appreciate your time and effort in reflecting on ways to enhance your self-worth. You are one of the few who understand that true strength doesn't come from proving yourself to others, but from mastering yourself. But don't stop here. Continue to dive deeper into the art of composure, a quality that not only intrigues people but also earns you genuine respect. If you want to keep discovering the secrets to building respect naturally, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss valuable content ahead. Let's move on to the next section. Make others respect you through calmness. 6. Make others respect you through calmness. Have you ever walked into a tense room and immediately been drawn into its chaotic energy? Loud voices, challenging stares, and impulsive reactions can easily make you lose control. But then, amidst all the noise, there is one person sitting there, calm, unhurried in their responses, unaffected by emotions. They don't need to say much, yet their presence alone carries weight. That is the power of calmness. Calmness is not passivity. It is a powerful expression of control. In a world where everyone rushes to speak and react instinctively, the one who remains composed holds true power. Calmness demonstrates self-control, and those who can master themselves are often seen as competent and trustworthy. In Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This reminds us that not every situation is worth our reaction. Sometimes, what happens externally only affects us if we allow it to. When a person can maintain their composure, they not only protect their mind from negativity, but also earn the respect of others. After all, it is understood that those who can control themselves can also control the situation. Take a look at how Barack Obama demonstrates calmness in communication. Throughout his years as the President of the United States, he faced immense pressure from the public, the media, and political opponents. Yet, never once did people see Obama lose his composure. When attacked, he did not react with anger. When provoked, he did not let emotions dictate his words. Instead, he used purposeful silence, steady eye contact, and a composed tone to affirm his position. This control made him one of the most respected leaders in the world. So, how can we apply calmness in our daily lives? First, recognize that you don't have to react to everything. Not every word deserves a response, and not every situation is worth losing control over. When someone deliberately provokes you, take a deep breath. Acknowledge your emotions, but do not let them dictate your actions. Look at them not with anger, but with calm observation. Remember, calmness is not just a way to manage situations. It is a sign of intelligence and dignity. The less a person reacts impulsively, the more respect they command. And in those moments when you choose silence over retaliation, composure over anger, that is when you assert your presence without needing to say a word. 7. Silence helps avoid conflicts and conserve energy. Silence is a deliberate choice, a way to protect the mind from unnecessary chaos and to preserve serenity in a world filled with anger and pointless arguments. We live in an era where everyone wants to speak up, where everyone wants to defend their opinions, even when it's not truly necessary. A casual remark can spark an endless debate. A personal viewpoint can turn into an unending battle on social media. But those who understand the value of silence know that not every situation requires a response. Like the samurai warriors of the past, they did not draw their swords for trivial matters. They only unsheathed them when it was truly necessary. A truly strong person is not someone who strives to win every confrontation, but someone who knows when to stop, when to remain silent, to maintain harmony and preserve their precious energy. In arguments, people's first instinct is often to defend themselves, to prove that they are right. But have you ever asked yourself, what is the cost of an argument? You may win the argument, but you lose your peace. You may silence others with your sharp reasoning, but what remains is tension, a fractured relationship, and a mind exhausted by negative emotions. It is an unequal exchange, and a truly wise person does not engage in battles where the final reward is mere exhaustion. Imagine this scenario. You are in a meeting, and a colleague inadvertently challenges you with provocative words. You have two choices. Immediately respond to defend your honor or remain silent and observe. If you choose the latter, what happens? The other person may begin to feel impatient, unsettled by the lack of reaction they expected. Meanwhile, you remain in complete control of the situation, untouched by the agitation of others. This is the power of silence. It not only helps you maintain composure, but also earns you greater respect. Those who master their emotions understand that their mental energy is their most valuable asset. They do not waste it on meaningless confrontations. Instead of arguing to defend their ego, they choose to listen, observe, and make well-informed decisions. This does not mean they always concede or are weak. On the contrary, it is because they are strong enough that they do not feel the need to prove anything to anyone. Sometimes, silence is not a retreat but a strategy. It allows you to conserve energy and focus on what truly matters in life. Things of lasting value rather than fleeting disputes. Ultimately, remember that silence does not mean defeat. It is a way to master yourself, to avoid being swept into cycles of negativity, and to maintain inner balance in a noisy world. When you choose silence, you are not only protecting your own peace, but also compelling those around you to reflect and respect you more. 8. How silence helps you become a strong leader. A leader is not the one who talks the most. They are not the ones who fill the space with flowery words, nor do they always feel the need to speak to assert themselves. On the contrary, true leaders understand that power does not lie in the quantity of words, but in the quality of listening. Silence is not a sign of weakness. It is a symbol of self-control and depth. People always try to speak louder to get attention, But those who know how to stay silent often have the greatest influence. They do not rush to react to situations or let emotions overpower reason. Instead, they observe, listen, and analyze before making decisions. This composure is what sets apart a person chasing fame from a true leader. Take Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, as a prime example of a leader who uses silence as a strategic tool. Unlike Steve Jobs, known for his direct and sharp personality, Cook leads with a different approach, listening more, observing carefully, and speaking only when necessary. In meetings, he allows others to share their views first, carefully analyzing each opinion before making a decisive decision. This approach has helped him build a strong team where everyone feels heard and respected. Silence not only helps you become a great leader, but also creates an aura of mystery and authority. When you do not speak excessively, your words carry more weight when you do. Outstanding leaders do not need to prove themselves with words. They let their actions speak. They do not say what they will do. They simply do it. And it is this certainty and consistency in action that earns them respect. In any situation, maintaining silence can provide an incredible advantage. When facing conflict, silence helps you control the situation rather than letting the situation control you. In negotiations, silence creates pressure, forcing the other party to reveal their true thoughts. When managing a team, silence helps you observe who is truly capable and who merely talks without taking action. However, silence does not mean passivity. It does not mean you never speak up. A great leader understands that there are moments to stay silent and listen, but also moments to speak and lead. The difference between an ordinary person and a leader lies in their ability to distinguish between these two moments. Observe the people around you. Who are the ones who talk a lot but act little? Who are the ones who speak sparingly? Yet each word carries value. And most importantly, what kind of person do you want to be? Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever experienced the power of silence in your life or work? I would love to hear your story. 9. Use silence to develop yourself. Silence is not emptiness. On the contrary, it is a vast space where the mind can expand, regenerate, and grow. In a world where everyone competes to be heard, the one who masters silence is the one who truly takes control. When you are not drawn into meaningless conversations or impulsive reactions, you realize something important. You have time to listen to yourself, to learn, and to become a better version of yourself. Look at the great individuals, the masters of thought and creativity. They are not the noisy ones, but those who know how to retreat into silence to think deeply. Bill Gates, one of the greatest minds of the modern world, has a unique habit called Think Week. A week of complete isolation, free from technology and distractions, with only books and thoughts. During that time, he reads hundreds of documents, ponders new ideas, and from there makes decisions that change the world. But the truth is, you don't need to be a billionaire or a genius to apply this principle to your life. The time you spend in silence is time you invest in yourself. In those moments when the outside world pauses, inside you, a powerful transformation is taking place. When you stop speaking, you begin to observe more. You notice the subtle nuances in words, the hidden emotions behind each smile, the unspoken messages in every situation. You understand the world more deeply because you are no longer distracted by the need to respond. But more importantly, in silence, you begin to hear yourself. You start to face your thoughts, ambitions, and plans that have long been buried under the external noise. That is when you truly connect with yourself, realign your goals, and carve your own path. It is no coincidence that successful people often make time every day to reflect, read, or simply sit in quietness to recharge. However, silence is not just a tool for personal growth. It is also a symbol of strength. When you remain silent amidst the noise, others will sense the solidity within you. Silence is not weakness, but a refined way to project authority. Those who lack confidence often try to fill the space with unnecessary words, but the truly strong understand that it is silence that gives weight to their words. So, do not fear silence. Learn to embrace it. Make it an essential part of your life. Set aside at least 30 minutes a day to be still, to read a book, or to write down your thoughts. When you do this, you not only expand your knowledge, but also build an inner strength, one that others will feel even when you say nothing at all. And then, when you have truly mastered silence, you will face an important question. When should you speak? Because silence is power, but using words at the right moment is the ultimate art. 10. When should you speak up? Silence is an art, but knowing when to speak is a skill. The wise do not speak much, but when they do, the world listens. A well-timed statement can shift the course of events, spark inspiration, or deliver a powerful blow against indifference and wrongdoing. On the other hand, excessive words are nothing more than meaningless noise, diminishing the speaker's own value. Imagine yourself in an important meeting. The room is silent. No one dares to utter a word. All eyes are on the leader, waiting for a decision. Suddenly, someone speaks, not to fill the silence with meaningless chatter, but to deliver a sharp statement, an irrefutable argument. The entire room is shaken. People nod in agreement, showing respect and remembering every word. That is the power of breaking silence at the right moment. Knowing when to speak is an art of sophistication. It is not about reacting emotionally, nor is it about impulsiveness or a desire to prove oneself. It is about careful consideration, deep understanding of the situation, and the people involved before delivering words of value. Great individuals do not speak just to fill a void. They speak to create change. Martin Luther King Jr. once stood before thousands and said, "I have a dream." Just one opening sentence, yet it ignited a revolution. Had he chosen to remain silent, had he turned away from injustice, history might never have been rewritten. Similarly, leaders and great thinkers around the world do not speak simply because they want to be heard, but because they know their words can make a difference. However, speaking up is not only reserved for moments of historical significance. In everyday life, knowing when to speak is also an art that requires practice. When someone insults you, you may choose silence, refusing to lower yourself to meaningless arguments. But when you witness a vulnerable person being oppressed, when injustice unfolds before your eyes, silence becomes complicity. That is when you must speak, not to assert your ego, but to defend the values you believe in. There are moments in life when your words are the only thing that can bring change. Do not waste them on trivial conversations, on words that carry no meaning. Let your words be like a sharp sword, drawn only when truly necessary, but when unsheathed, impossible to ignore. The key is not to remain silent forever, but to control both your silence and your speech. Observe, listen, and when the right moment comes, speak with power and depth, because a well-timed word holds more strength than 1,000 wasted ones. Conclusion. We've explored 3 important elements. Train your mind, keep quiet, and observe the world around you. If you want to be respected, remember that smart people don't talk much. They act and let their results speak for themselves. Silence is not just a skill, but a powerful statement of self-respect and emotional control. Put yourself in the situation. Have you ever kept quiet during an argument and realized the power of it? Or have you ever seen someone become respected simply because of the way they observe and listen? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next valuable content. And don't forget to click on the video next to continue your journey of self-improvement.